Well, good day. Welcome to another episode of Raw Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Well, Pelosi and Mitch both are screwing you. As usual, Democrats and Republicans are doing things in their own best interest for the sake of political posturing and winning an election versus serving you, the American people, knowing that if you take care of them, you'll take care of them at the election booth. So what both of them are trying to do, they're trying to posture to see who's going to be the savior of America, because if we save them, they're going to get out there and vote for us. It's always about us getting out to vote for them. Here it is now. We've been without a second stimulus package for at least 4 to 5 months. Now, unemployment has stopped. I give Donald Trump the credit that he did an executive order and provided the funding through the FEMA. But our governor here in New York have not provided the rest of the money, the $100 extra that he requires for it to get in our pockets. So once again, political posturing is hurting the American people. And it's not Trump that's doing the political posturing, because he went ahead and passed the thing. He could have kept the $600. Yeah, but look, this is Donald Trump you're talking about. Don't expect him to just kiss y'all behind, but in this situation, he did his executive order, $400. I'll pay $300, you pay $100, state. On top of what you're currently getting in your unemployment. A huge deal, because right now you're not getting nothing. Yet the Democrats want to posture. No, we're not doing it, because if we do that, then they're going to think you did it, and it's going to make you look good, and we don't want you looking good. We want to continue to make look bad. Look, bro, y'all ain't got to try to make Trump look bad. Bruh's doing the doggone thing himself. You ain't got to do it. COVID did it. COVID got him. If Trump loses this election, it's not because Joe Biden was so great and he offered some great policies and he was Barack Obama 2.0 with the great, exciting hope and change and yes we can speeches. That ain't Joe Biden. And for your governors to sit there and wait for him to get in office while the American people suffer is pathetic. Now, I'm no fan of Steve Mnuchin. Let me get myself up here. Now, I am no fan of Steve Mnuchin. Thanks to the housing crisis and thanks to Obama not going far enough to help people save their homes, but he sure helped save the auto industry, which is great, save some jobs, which is great, but gave a big thank you kiss to all the financial agencies, Goldman Sachs and all them, Jamie Dimon and all those boys, by allowing people like Steve Mnuchin to help them foreclose on people's homes. And they're in the middle of a freaking crisis. Now, I hate doing this, because if I do this, y'all gonna call me a Trump lover or whatever. But thank God Trump did put the moratorium on mortgages, moratorium on the rent. You will gonna have to pay it back, but right now you ain't got to pay it. So right now you're not getting thrown out. But get your chips up, because that day is coming. Hopefully a stimulus package will come in to relieve you when you do make that opportunity to catch up on your rent and mortgage payments. Steve Mnuchin, a guy who robbed innocent people, elderly, white, black, Hispanic, you name it, took their homes away from him and gave them back to the banks instead of doing whatever he can to help people keep his own. Kamala Harris had the chance to prosecute this dude as Attorney General. He sends some money to her campaign. See, people don't want to talk about this stuff, and people don't want to take the time to look at the stuff. I tell you about it, and you think I'm lying when you just too lazy to get your butt up and go find out for yourself. You can't stand the truth. She slapped Steve Mnuchin on the hand. It's okay, buddy. I'm going to let you go. Next case, please. What, you got caught with some weed? 10 to 20. I'm locking you up, nigga. Going to jail. And the only way you're going to get some time chipped off is you go out there and fight some forest fires. Other than that, you're going to jail, and I'm going to do whatever I can to keep you in jail so I can make money off your labor for these corporations to kiss the behind of Arnold Schwarzenegger, kiss the behind of Sherrod Brown, kiss the behind of anybody that's going to run for governor. That's why these companies love her. That's why these companies prop her up. That's why she getting the magazine covers, because she is good at helping these corporations make money off people free labor. She had a chance to put Steve Mnuchin in jail, and she slapped him on the wrist and let him go. Now, speaking of Steve Mnuchin, bring him back up. Trump picked Steve Mnuchin as our Treasury Secretary of Treasury. The man who stole homes from innocent people who was just a little bit behind on their bills because we had a depression or recession and we were coming out of the ditch, as Obama would say. He took a fine opportunity to take those homes back quick, fast, and in a hurry. You got one more payment? It don't matter. You have it by Thursday? Well, today, Wednesday. Nope, I'm taking the house. That's Steve Mnuchin. Well, as Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin decided to work with the Trump administration to come up with a stimulus package. Decided to work with Nancy Pelosi on the stimulus package. But as usual, because of political posturing and the Trump administration don't want Democrats to get any kind of leeway with the American public and vice versa, they go into stalemate playing these political games and political posturing while you and me starve. Let's go ahead and read the article. Now I'm reading you from AP. White House virus aid offer is panned by Pelosi and Senate GOP. A new, which implicates there was an old, White House coronavirus aid offer got bad reviews from both ends of the political spectrum on Saturday. Both political spectrums talked about the White House coronavirus aid. Well, let's look into this. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, somebody who I hope that brother get out of office because it's time for her to go. She's been in there since Kingdom Come. Time for her to get out. She old as Methuselah. She need to go. She even admitted that she knows she's a very, very powerful woman. Well, Nancy Pelosi rejected the most generous Trump administration plan to date. As one step forward, two steps back, the Republicans who controlled the Senate dismissed it too, as too expensive and a political loser for conservatives. So here he is. The White House comes up with a stimulus package. Not good enough for the Republicans and cost too much for the Republicans and not good enough for the Democrats. So here we are. We got the White House. And you know me, I don't like to play politics. I really don't like to do that. I love it, but I don't like to play it. You got the president that came close to the original bill that the House came out that the Republicans rejected. Nancy Pelosi says still not good enough. And the Republicans say, man, it's too good. Now, what should happen right here, and Obama had the same opportunity to do this when you as president who have the bully pulpit, who has some sense of power, especially when you got a base that these Republicans need to win. Now, they may have changed because coronavirus have screwed up and chipped off a lot of Trump's base, according to the polls. What do you mean by that, Robert? It's simple, man. If Trump loses, it's not going to be Joe Biden. It's coronavirus, man. It's one thing to stop the virus from coming into the country. That's a responsible person. That's a responsible president. But when that president fouled up this mess so bad when it come to COVID that he ended up becoming a victim himself, that is very irresponsible, and it don't look good on Trump. And you know me, I'm the person that always saying, look, Trump going to go left, and when he go left, y'all going to be happy, and you're going to ride the horse. But him catching coronavirus, I think, changed that situation. And then him trying to make a mockery out of it, and I'll talk about that later this week, him talking about he wanted to come out the hospital. You know, it's alleged that he wanted to come out the hospital with a Superman t-shirt up under his eye. Well, those guys on Reddit or something else. So let me get back to this. Pelosi says she's still hopeful that progress can be made toward a deal, but it's clear as ever that GOP conservatives don't want a deal on her terms. On her terms. On her terms. This about you, Nancy Pelosi? This is about you inking out a win? Is this about you trying to do whatever you can to get Democrats elected, or this is about helping American people? Because you do realize, and the same thing go with you, Mitch the bitch. You do realize that whenever you crap on the American public, they'll reject both of you. So you better have your cars out there ready to pull people to the polls, because you show pushing them away, both of you. And this is why we got so many more independents than Democrats and Republicans combined, because both of you are a piece of crap. The White House had boasted its offer before Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and Pelosi spoke on Friday afternoon. President Donald Trump is eager for an agreement before the election day, of course. He got to make it seem like he saved America. So he put out a generous, to me, I think is a decent bill up front. I got to dig in it a little more. Make sure you ain't put up, putting chains on black people like Joe Biden would do. I'm just kidding with that. President Donald Trump is eager for agreement before election day. Even as his most powerful GOP ally in the Senate said Congress is unlikely to deliver relief by then. The only way somebody would say something like that is because they fear they may lose their seat and they don't want to give somebody a victory. You pick your side, you pick your poison of who that is for. You're scared you're going to lose your seat? I get it. Do you really think you're going to win your seat by doing this, by denying the American public the money that they need right now? See, what you're going to make a mess around and do is, once again, Trump is going to do something different because he's losing so bad in COVID and he's struggling in the polls. I mean, he ain't struggling in the polls. He getting Joe Biden, a man who ain't did jack for this, the man who's been handed the election along with his VP who's been handed the vice president, didn't really work hard for it. He just sit back and let Trump hang himself. And it's working. As long as he don't say nothing, he going to be all right. Trump is gasping for air in this particular situation. That's why Trump said, and I quote, COVID relief negotiations are moving along. Go big. This is what Trump said on Friday. I want you guys to go big on this bill because I need to win. I need 4 more years so I can wreak more hell on this country. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. If you think that's something, in the words of Jack Nicholson on Batman, where to get a load of 4 more years of me. The new offer from the White House totals about $1.8 trillion. Now I think Nancy wanted 2.2 trillion. Trump met them at 1.8 billion. The Republicans don't even want to give 1 trillion. Trump offered 1.8 trillion. That's only 4 trillion less than what Nancy is offering. Now it seems like Nancy want to have it my way. And she want to probably got so much pork in this freaking bill, it's ridiculous. Probably want to give money to this and money to that. They ain't got nothing to do with people's keeping their house and keeping their lights on and paying their car payment and stuff. The new offer totals about 1.8 trillion. Aides familiar with it said, with the key state and local fiscal relief component moving forward from 250 billion to at least 300 billion. The White House said its most recent offer before that was about 1.6 trillion. So they went up 0.2 trillion higher. The aides were not authorized to publicly discuss private negotiations and spoke on the conditions of anonymity. Pelosi's most recent public offer was about 2.2 trillion, like I said, though that includes a business tax increase that Republicans going to go for. So right now, Nancy Pelosi is trying to cram down a business tax relief. I mean, not relief, but increase. Why in the hell would you want to increase businesses' taxes in the middle of a freaking pandemic, let alone recession? You leave that up to the big boys, Nancy. You leave that up to whoever's going to be president, whether it's Joe Biden or whether it's Trump. You got to get in there and do the Hillary Clinton, I killed Gaddafi thing. I got to show myself strong like Obama. Of course, the Republicans are not going to go for you increasing business taxes on businesses in the middle of a freaking pandemic. In a letter to colleagues Saturday, Pelosi said this proposal amount to 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Yeah, thanks to you. When the president talks about wanting a bigger relief package, his proposal appears to mean that he wants more money at his discretion to grant or withhold. She said that while his administration attempt to address some of the Democratic concern, is he addressing the Democratic concern or not? Is it a Democratic concern or is it a people concern, Nancy? Disagreements remain on many priorities, and the Democrats are weighing language on several provisions. Despite these unaddressed concerns, I remain hopeful that yesterday's development will move us closer to an agreement on a relief package that addressed the health and economic risks facing American families. Mnuchin's latest offer also got a roasting from the GOP senators who weighs in on a conference call Saturday morning, according to a Republican familiar with the call who was not authorized to discuss the call publicly and spoke on conditions of anonymity. Many conservatives are skeptical of so much deficit financial. Dude, bro, y'all can't. I can't with these politicians. Now is not the freaking time to be talking about no deficit. Now is not the freaking time to talk about a deficit. You wasn't talking about that when that money was going to these major corporations thinking they're going to spend it on their workers and they pocket it and buy back stocks. You can take this particular talking point and stick it up your behind, Republicans. Don't talk to me or anybody else about a deficit concern. Pelosi saw provisions such expanding eligibility for the Affordable Care Act landing with a thud. Now, you know Pelosi. These people are horrible. Now, you know Nancy Pelosi. Trump is not going to sign off something that's going to pump life into Affordable Care Act. What you can do is try to do something that can get people to the polls, and that's Medicare for all. But you want to hang on to this Obamacare, which is really Mitt Romney care, which is really, Republican care. It's original health care plan from Republicans, created by Massachusetts under the tutelage or under the governorship of Mitt Romney. Barack Obama took Mitt Romney plan, tweaked it here and there, and it became Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. She wants to save a Republican right-wing healthcare financial plan, want to get money into the healthcare industry instead of taking profit out of it. So she's going to make you and me suffer because she's trying to revive that. Leave that to the big boys, Nancy. Leave that to those who become president. It is not your job to try to revive Obamacare in this bill. It is not your job to tax businesses in this bill. Leave that to the next president. Your job is to get money to the American people, not this crap. And you Republicans need to stop worrying about a freaking deficit. That's out the door. You came up with trillions of dollars out of your behind to pay the airline industry, but when black people start talking to you about reparations, how are we going to afford it? I don't care how you're going to afford it. Just do it. I'm almost done. Pragmatists, such as Senator Susan Collins, Republican from Maine, politically endangered Republicans, including Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, appear willing to go big as Trump wants. But rank and file Republicans, such as Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Rick Scott of Florida, and John Barrasso of Wyoming, for example, are adamantly opposed to another relief bill that's so generous. So Rick Scott ain't going to be with it. These are staunch, hardcore, real serious right-wing Republicans. And what Trump should do is campaign against them for getting away of his bill. Lobby against him. But Trump has beholden himself to the Republican Party just as much as the Republican Party has holding himself to Trump base. Both of them are, which Democrats should be that way too, especially when it comes to progressives. These people worry about their base turning their back on them, that they're willing to do anything for their base. How about you try that, Joe Biden? These people are willing to do anything for their base. You're not willing to do anything for your base, and that's probably the reason why you're going to end up losing. Because if Trump put money in the hands, if Trump turned around and mess around and $2,000 a month for the next 6 months go in the hand of every American, every month, UBI, as well as, $400 or $500 extra on the unemployment check, you're going to lose. I don't care how bad he messed up with coronavirus. Bills are paid. Food is in the refrigerator. Baby got Pampers and new shoes. That speak louder than coronavirus. Let me finish this. I'm done. President Donald Trump has been all over. Let me finish this. I think it's unlikely that the next 3 weeks, here we go. I think it's unlikely that in the next 3 weeks, trying to push it off to the election, McConnell said Friday. McConnell, Mitch the bitch. Turtlehead. I think it's unlikely in the next 3 weeks that we get a deal. In other words, we ain't doing no deal. We're not even going to, even the president, he can do whatever he wants. We ain't doing no deal until after the election. Folks, if you do realize after election, just like I always say, you will never get what you want politically waiting to after the bell is rung. The fight is over with, man. You got knocked out. Well, Mr. Bish said that the first item of priority of the Senate is the Supreme Court. See, so he making this about the Supreme Court instead of you, the American people. Now, I don't know how in the world y'all let this lady beat this brother out in Kentucky, but this lady's going to lose to Mitch. Blacks can come out there in the high 90s, and this lady's still going to lose to Mitch because he always beat. He always win. And all he's thinking about is the Supreme Court, suggesting there isn't time to process both a relief bill and a high court nomination on Judge Amy Coney Barrett before November the 3rd election. President Donald Trump has been all over the map, first as one of the forces in favor of a deal, then killing the talks on Tuesday, only to revive them by weeks. By the way, he revived it because the stock market crashed. On Tuesday, he ordered an end to the weeks-long talk after being told that few Republicans in Congress would end up voting for the possible Pelosi-Mnuchin deal. Now, after a political beating, Trump is pressing hard for a deal, motivated by the prospecting of sending $1,200 direct payment to voters before November. Now, me and my boy Duval, Marumi, we talked about this. Money's going to come out right before the November. Trump hope it will get people to vote for him. It's not. But then again, it may. It's clear from Saturday's Senate GOP conference call that the skepticism or outright opposition hasn't changed. Here's the bottom line. What everybody should be doing right now is should be calling their congressmen and threatening to take your vote away from them. I'm so freaking serious. You have to call every one of your congressmen and tell them that if they don't take this deal, because they're not, Nancy's going to hold on to her. Nancy's trying to put all kind of crap in there, stuff in there. I mean, she's killing it. She's killing the bill. And she's supposed to be on your team, right? She's putting in there a revision of the, she's trying to bring to life certain parts of the Obamacare. It's not going to happen. Trump hate that thing. He's not going to sign off for that. And the Republicans not going to sign off. So it's a waste of energy of you putting it in the bill. Leave that to after the election. What you can do is put in there that bills are covered 100% for coronavirus victims and any other victim for that chance. Stop trying to bring that dead horse back to life. You stalling the bill. And what was the other thing say she was trying to do? Anyway, a bunch of crap. You got a bill. You got a package that will provide relief. All you have to do is sign for it. But no, Democrats and Republicans want to posture, and they want to make you suffer while they posture. Why? Because their bills are paid. They got a roof over their head. The government paid for it. They get a check for life. A check for life. They can go. They ain't got. Look, they're going. Not only do they get a check of life, they can go to. I don't care how old you are and how long you've been out the Senate. You can always go to the congressional halls and get you a good meal. Free. And I'm not talking about no old rinky-dink prison meal. I'm talking about steak and all that good meals. If you want to go get a little more education, Senator Jackson, you can go to that college over there and it'll cost you a dime. You sick? All right, go down to Walter Reed. They'll take care of you. They got stuff that we need that we're crying for, which is really our relief. They getting it. They getting a check every month. They getting it. They don't pay rent. They don't have to pay for health care. No. They good. But we're over here struggling, and we're going to let these fools on both sides play these Mickey Mouse games with our lives. I'm telling you, every last one of you You want to see something change? Call your local and definitely call your U.S. representative and get in that behind. You get on Twitter and blast them out. Get in that behind because they on their Twitter. Find that blue check and get on their behind on their Twitter. If you can get in that inbox, get in that inbox and get in their behind. Because both sides, Mitch and Pelosi is playing games. Pelosi, 150 millionaire. She ain't you. She don't identify with you, and she never going to identify with you. I don't care if you are a woman. You and her can stand side by side singing, I'm every woman, and she still don't identify with you because she's filthy, stinky rich. And for somebody to come up here and try to shame me for not protesting, sister, Michelle, I love you as my black sister, but girl, you got an $18 million house in Martha Vineyard. One of 3 homes. You yourself a best-selling author. You guys are filthy, stinking rich. You don't know what it's like to be us no more. Know why? Because you're not us. These people up here are doing whatever they can to make themselves look good while you and I suffer. It don't matter. Trump, Joe Biden, Pence, Kamala Harris, Obama, the Bushes, it don't matter. They all friends. They're in a big club and you ain't in it. It's a doggone shame we're struggling out here. About to hit a recession in the middle of winter. Like we in the Game of Thrones somewhere, and these fools want to sit up here and play posture. Seesawing back and forth with this bull crap. Not a fan of Trump, but he comes out with a bill that 1.8 trillion, and you wanted 2.2 trillion. Now, if you take out that pork that you're trying to get in there, you'll probably get $1.8 billion worth of stuff, and you can make a deal. But you're trying to cram that pork down these Republicans' throat, and they're not going to eat it. And if I were a Republican, I wouldn't eat it too. But you got to have your way. Bad enough, we got to worry about whether the Senate will sign it. You feel you got to get your way. And it's hurting us. And we're struggling. And at the end of the day, you can go back to your mansion in D.C. or California, which one, it don't matter. You can go back to your mansion. You can open up your $5,000 refrigerator and get that $10, $20 ice cream that you got in bulk order. While I get off here, and I go in the refrigerator and get some of that two for $6 ice cream from Stop and Shop. Folks, you want to change things, you got to change things. You want things to change, you got to be the one to change it. Stop waiting for these dumb nuts to try to change it. You got to initiate the change. You got to light the fire under their behind. You got to put the heat on your neck. You got to ride them like a horse. You got to call your congressman. You got to call them tomorrow. First thing in the morning, you got to call your U.S. senator and get in that behind. You got to get on Twitter and get in that behind. You got to get on Facebook and get out of it. If they got Instagram, get in that behind. Because I know I am. I hope you do the same thing. I'm Robert Brown with the Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Peace.